Hello, everyone. It's Mrs. Hill here, coming at you with your interview directions for the asynchronous days this week. Please make sure you are following along. This week, we have asynchronous days on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you are going to do the following. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to come here and you're going to watch the video that you are watching right now. And then when you are finished with this video, I want you to complete this short quiz on the interview directions. The link will be right there in your class announcements. This short quiz is going to be due on Monday, November 23rd. There will be no window of opportunity to make this up, so make sure you are completing this on Monday, November 23rd. You should begin working on this mock interview project. It's going to be due on Tuesday, December 1st, which is the day that we come back from break. I'm going to give you till the end of the day on Tuesday to complete it because it is a bigger project. But remember, if you are using these work days, you should have plenty of time. So today you are going to watch the directions and you are going to start your assignment. So just taking a look, here we have our mock interview project, the same link. It will take you right to the assignment. The assignment has some directions. It will close on December 4th. Remember the close date. You do not want to wait till that close date because if you submit something to me on the close date and you're missing 10 points of the assignment, guess what? You're not going to get any opportunity to resubmit it. So make sure you guys are doing it and have it turned in before that due date, giving you plenty of time. So the directions are attached and I'm going to kind of rush through them, but you can read through them on your own. I'm going to go ahead and click on the directions. There is also a mock interview template, a PowerPoint version. If you would like to use that template, it is there to help you. So let's go ahead and open up my directions and take a look at what we have to do for this assignment. Now, the directions are simply the directions. You do not need to put your interview on this same document. You can create this interview in a Word document, in a PowerPoint. You can make a YouTube video. You can deliver it however you would like. This is a super popular project. It's one of the favorites by all of the students. It's due December 1st. I can't stress that enough. By 11:30 p.m. So that day that we return from break is a Tuesday. I will give you guys a little bit of class time to kind of ask questions on how to submit, and we'll wrap up our work of that project on that Tuesday. But do not wait. Start today. You have all week to work on this, and it is a big assignment. It's worth 25 points. You are going to choose one of the individuals listed on this list. These are all people that we have learned about or we will be learning about in the upcoming near future. So I want you to pick one of them. If they're not on this list, if there's somebody that I'm forgetting, or maybe there's somebody that you're just really interested in from this same era, reach out to me and ask. You have to ask. You cannot just pick anyone you want. If you turn in a wonderful interview project about Benjamin Franklin, I am going to have to say, I'm sorry, you didn't follow directions. I need you to resubmit this assignment. So you cannot pick anyone you want, boys and girls. You must pick from that list or reach out to me if you see somebody else that you wanted to interview. You must ask. Then what? You picked a person. What do? You research, research, research. What does research mean? It means to learn about them. So whether you are using a textbook, the internet, going to the library, you're going to learn about them and you're going to want to take notes. Pretend as though you have the opportunity to interview this person. What types of questions would you ask based on your research? So learn about them first and then write 10 questions that you would ask them. I'm going to be really picky about these questions, boys and girls. No broad questions that you would ask an average Joe. No, what's your favorite color? What are your kids' names? Where did you go to college? Remember, we're learning about these people for a reason. What is interesting to know about them? What is interesting to know about these people? Don't tell me what their kids' names are. Don't tell me how many brothers and sisters they had or where they went to college. I need you guys to dig a little deeper. I want you to learn about them and I want you to retain the information. Who cares how many siblings they had? Who cares what their sister's name was? All right, these are all simple facts that any of us could research on the internet and come up with really simple questions for. I don't want you to do that. I want those questions to be interesting and important, boys and girls. I can't stress that enough. Here are some examples. What do you mean, Mrs. Hill? Jane Addams is one of the people that are on the list. She is a wonderful woman that we're going to learn about. Here's an example. Jane Addams, what made you want to help others? When I was a child, I suffered from a disease that left me handicapped, and this made me want to help others who were suffering. Your question responses must be in complete sentences, and they must demonstrate that you research them. So if you said to Jane Addams, what made you want to help others? And you wrote, I wanted to make the world a better place. That could be anything that we could ask anyone, right? Of course she's helping others because she wants to make the world a better place. But I want you to specifically give me some details that show me that you are learning about Jane Addams. So if you learned about Jane Addams, you would know that she suffered from a handicap as a child. So again, you want to dig in there. Here are some questions you cannot ask. You cannot have any questions that are one-word responses. What is your name? Henry. Where were you born? In the United States or even in Illinois. I don't care where they were born, all right? However, if it's someone like Andrew Carnegie, where were you born? That might be important to include. Why? Because Andrew Carnegie was an immigrant. But then I want you to elaborate. Don't just put Scotland. I came over from Scotland as I was a child because my father was out of work, blah, 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 blah. Elaborate on those questions. Only include them if it's something important. Here's a good example. Can you tell me about your childhood? I was born to a pretty rich family and I had lots of privileges. However, I was sick a lot as a child and I had to work really hard to overcome many obstacles. Not a good response. It was bad. It was not good. I was poor. Again, I want you guys to elaborate, have conversations with your individual. Which one of these would be acceptable? What was your family like? Small. One word response, never acceptable. What if I wrote, it was small? That's a sentence, absolutely still unacceptable. My kids' names were Julia Hill, Shane Hill, Peyton Hill, and Aubrey Hill. Would that be a good one? No, who cares what the kids' names are? What about the last one? This has to be it. I have a small immediate family. My parents were poor. We had a roof over our heads, but we didn't have too many luxuries. That would be a good response to include. So you're learning about the individual. Why, Mrs. Hill? Why are you making us ask such deep questions? Remember, your goal is to learn about these people. If you just list a bunch of facts like where were you born, what were your kids' names, we could all come up with 10 questions relatively easy. Your goal is to research them, learn about them, and offer us some good information in the interview. How many questions do you need to ask your historical figure? 10 questions. So you're going to come up with 10 questions, and then you are going to come up with 10 responses. Are these acceptable responses? No. Why not? Because they're one word. What if I added to them to make them a sentence? Still unacceptable. Give me something good. It is time to respond to those questions as a historical figure would. What would they say based on your research? I want you to make sure you are revising with any assignment, any graded assignment. You guys are sixth graders. Capital letters, punctuation, complete sentences. Make sure you are not plagiarizing. You're not copying and pasting anything from the internet or from your book. And the last thing I want you to do before you submit it is make sure your learning coach looks it over before you submit it. Plagiarism is a big deal. If you copy and paste somebody else's work into your own, you will get a 0 on this assignment. Now, listen, I'm going to give you a chance to redo it and resubmit it in your own words. You must make sure that you are writing things in your own words. You're only going to get one chance to redo it. That is Agora's policy. I have a little help video here to help you with the plagiarism if you're not too sure about it. I don't need you to cite any of your sources, but I do not want you guys writing things word for word how they are from the text. I want you to get creative and use your own words. Here's an example. This is plagiarizing. Jane, what was your biggest accomplishment in life? And my source says the following at the bottom. Do you see what it says? So I'm just going to take the co-founded part and I'm going to turn it into a sentence. I co-founded one of the first settlement houses in the United States, the Hull House in Chicago, Illinois. I want you to reword this in your own words. This is plagiarizing. I don't want you just to take out her name and put I want you to reword it. Jane, what was one of your biggest accomplishments? I would like to think that my biggest accomplishment was helping to create the Hull House in Chicago. This was one of the first settlement houses in the United States. Do you see the difference? One is in my own words. One sounds like dialogue too, and the other one doesn't. So make sure you guys are trying your hardest on this. I'm going to go ahead and skip over this next part and let you kind of just look at that on your own so I don't run out of my 15 minutes of my time here. I have a checklist here. I want you to go through this checklist with your learning coach before you submit your responses. How will you be graded? It's 25 points. You are going to get 2.5 points for every single question and response. Take a look at my rubric here. So your first question, if it demonstrates research and you have a good response and I see correct spelling, grammar, and punctuation, you're going to get 2.5 points. So 1 point for the question, 1 point for the response, and 0.5 point for correct spelling and grammar. Can you come up with more than 10 questions? Absolutely, you can, but try to stick to around 10 questions. How do you do this? You can submit it in the assignment folder just like we submit all of our other projects. You can choose how you want to complete this assignment. You can do it on a simple Word document with questions and responses. You can do it on a PowerPoint, of which I included a template, or you can even come up with a YouTube video if you want. I want you guys to think outside the box, all right? Take a look at the requirements. As long as they're all included, it is completely up to you where you are going to complete this at. Remember, when you are conducting an interview, try to have fun with it and come up with some dialogue. So some students have recorded their voices and incorporated into PowerPoint. You don't have to do this, but you can do this, all right? Do they have to be this fancy? No, they do not have to be that fancy, but they can be. This is due December 1st. I want you to start working now. You have the next 3 asynchronous days, no live lesson. We're going to return on Tuesday, December 1st. We are going to have some class time to wrap up our final thoughts, and it is going to be due at the end of the day, December 1st. What I would love for you to do is get it turned in before you even leave for break. Don't wait till December 1st. Work during these asynchronous days and have fun and do your best. Now, what I want you to do right now, and this is going to close today, so make sure you do this on Monday, November 24th. It's not 5 points, it's actually going to be 3, so I need to change that there. But you are going to go ahead and complete this quiz, and then when you are all done, you are going to start your project. All right, having said that, I'm going to pause. Coming back to my video here, if you'll take a look here, you will notice the directions are here. There's also a mock interview template. So you can use this template if you want to, but you don't have to. And when you're all done, you're simply going to come down here and you're going to click add a file and you are going to attach your document and click submit. So pretty easy. Boys and girls, again, I can't stress enough, use these asynchronous days to work on it. Do not procrastinate and make sure you get that quiz done today. We will have a check-in today, so if you have any questions for me, I will be in that check-in, and I will